first look at this political cartoon, I noticed there seems to be a lot of motion that's actually moving forward to the viewer. But just so we don't forget to look at the words, let's check out some of the words that the cartoonist gives us. So we have White House Highway, we have oil, and then of course we have scandal. So let's just start to address the words that might be helpful. Well, with oil, all right. Well, when we look at oil, we know based on what we've talked about with John D. Rockefeller and Standard Oil, we know that oil is very, very profitable. We also know that it has a lot of uses. Oil was once used for lamps. It's also now going to be used for fuel, for automobiles and the wheels of industry, if you will. Now, this word oil is now attached to scandal. Well, now all of a sudden, this becomes a little bit negative because when we're looking at a scandal means that something corrupt is going on, something dishonest is going on, and now we have a little bit of a problem. So when we look here, if we have a scandal that's linked to oil, and now all of a sudden it's connected to the White House, we have a very, very bad situation, which is going to bring me to these two guys. So let's look at these gentlemen who are really in a rush to get out of the way of this oil scandal. And just in case you don't figure that they're in a rush, you see the smoke that's being kicked up and the dust that's being kicked up, and somebody else is just a faster run of them. So let's look at these two guys. So they're somehow involved in a scandal, which could possibly mean that they're involved in committing a crime. What kind of crime could it be? Well, let me look. Right, if I'm looking at them, they're dressed really well. I see slacks. I see a jacket. Maybe this was a tie at one point, but now it's moving backwards. So if I'm looking at about what kind of criminals these might be, I wouldn't suggest or think that these might be street thugs or gangsters from the 20s. So these, maybe today you might consider these guys white collar criminals because they do seem like they are from. They do look rich just in terms of their clothing as well. If they are attached to oil somehow, generally speaking, being involved in the oil industry, that's not really a street crime, if you will, if you're talking about robbery, theft, or dealing illegal narcotics. So now we have these two guys appear to be wealthy who are running away from an oil scandal, and they're going towards the White House, which brings me to this contraption over here. So we have a steamroller that is all of a sudden a teapot. Well, my Tonka trucks never looked anything like a teapot. So this thing is going to steamroll these two guys down. So if we're really trying to get some meaning out of this, these two gentlemen here, somehow involved in an oil scandal that is linked to high levels to the White House, and they're trying desperately to get away from this. All right, let's try and understand this political cartoon now. So a couple of things you're going to see where we're going to make some connections to this cartoon. So right away in front of you right now is an oil field. And this oil field is located in Wyoming, which is going to bring us back to now this teapot. What's the significance of the teapot? Well, this teapot is referring to a rock formation in Wyoming. So this rock formation happened to be the location of where oil reserves were located at. Now, the teapot, again, we mentioned is in Wyoming, and now we see oil scandal on the political cartoon. So now we know what's going on. This is referring to Wyoming, and the teapot right here is referring to the rock formation where oil could be pumped from the ground and used for commercial purposes, industrial purposes. For this intensive purposes, this oil field was once belonged to the Navy and is going to be turned over to the Secretary of the Interior, which we'll get to in a moment. Let's look at these two guys. We know that oil is a lucrative business where you can receive enormous amounts of profits. So these two guys are oil executives, and they are none other than Harry Sinclair and Edward Duhaney. So now, how do these guys all of a sudden have the ability to now use government land for their own personal purposes? That's going to come from this guy, Secretary of the Interior, Albert Fall. Now, the president at the time was President Warren G. Harding. Before he rose to become the president, the secretary of his new Secretary of Interior, Albert Fall, was actually a guy he used to play poker with. Now, what Secretary of Interior Albert Fall does is that he convinces the president of the United States to make sure that that area in Wyoming, which once belonged to the Navy, who is going to now use oil for its ships because now it's not going to be relying on coal to make their ships move once we get into the 1900s. He's going to convince the president to make sure that those oil fields now fall under the Secretary of the Interior. So now, since he's the Secretary of Interior, and now he has control of all of this land, and of course, this guy has also incurred an enormous amount of debt in his lifetime, he's going to use that land and he's going to lease it to these two oil executives, Harry Sinclair and Edward Doheny. How does he get caught? Well, Albert Fall, he started to live life lavishly. A lot of that money he was pocketing, and this is what winds up getting him caught. People started to get suspicious. An investigation is launched, and then, of course, you saw in this political cartoon, this is one of the things that really gets tied to Warren G. Harding. Warren G. Harding's big mistake when it came to appointing people to his cabinet, he wound up appointing people to his cabinet that were dishonest. They were his friends, but they were dishonest. And this is just one of the many scandals that starts to come to the public light or come to the public eyes after Warren G. Harding actually winds up dying when he goes out to California, where he's starting to campaign for a second term. But this is the scandal where, had he lived, this is something that he probably could have been impeached for. Thank you for watching.